We have to take control of the stories we are telling ourselves. And this is a key when we are disrupting burnout. Hey, friend, welcome to the Disrupting Burnout podcast. I am your host, Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, but you can call me PBJ. Friend, you are in the right place. Here at Disrupting Burnout, we are giving you the tools to disrupt and beat burnout so you can love your career and your work again. Friend, we get it. You're in the right place at the right time. We speak your language. We know what it feels like. We know that caring and serving in a compassionate way can cost you in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, in your relationships. And this is your place to come to be refreshed. This is where you get refilled. This is the place to be revived. This is the place to fill your cup so that you can serve from your overflow. Friend, I'm so glad you're here and I'm ready to get started. How about you? Let's get into it. Hey friends, I am so excited to be back with you this week and to dig more deeply into disrupting burnout. So last week we discussed the 3 strategies that I teach to disrupt burnout, not surface tactics, not just looking at your calendar, but how do we break this cycle of burnout and never find ourselves in that rock bottom again? And those 3 strategies were checking your backpack, building your boundaries, and discovering your brilliance. So backpack, boundaries, brilliance. Those are the 3 strategies that I have found for myself and for my coaching clients to be effective in disrupting the burnout cycle. Today, I want to offer another question that I want you to ask yourself concerning what's in your backpack. I have to tell you that when I was in rock bottom burnout, one of the problems or one of the challenges I had were the stories I was telling myself. The stories that I made up in my head and I was telling myself. Now, listen, y'all know how we do. Human beings, we are natural storytellers. We are. That's how we have passed down our history. You know, for as long as human beings have existed, we have shared and told stories from family experiences and lineage to history to what we tell stories naturally. And our brain works that way, right? If you're a mama, you know what I'm talking about. So you're trying to get your child on the phone and they don't answer, and automatically your head starts making up a story. Anytime there's a gap between what we know for sure and what we don't know, human nature, we fill in that gap. And most of the time, what we fill that gap in with is an exaggeration. Most of the time, the story that we create is much worse than the actual reality. I don't know about y'all, and I'm not proud of it, but there have been too many days that I have pictured my child or my husband in a ditch somewhere just because they weren't answering their phone. We have to take control of the stories we are telling ourselves. And this is a key when we are disrupting burnout. The first step is you need to identify the story. Identify the story from the truth. Remember, I said there's the truth that we know for sure, and then there's there's a gap. And we start to fill in that gap with a story. What stories are you telling yourself? What stories have you created in your own mind and in your own heart that are leading you to burnout? For me, I told myself stories like, well, if I don't do it, nobody else will. If I don't show up, Who's going to help my students? Who's going to be there for them? Honey, I've told y'all this before. After I walked away from my job because of burnout, those students had the nerve to keep going to school. They had the nerve to graduate without me. They had the nerve to get careers and move on with their life. And I wasn't even there. And I'm chuckling at myself now, but it was so real to me. In that moment, in that time frame, it was so real to me. I was convinced that they needed me. I was convinced. And it was all in good intentions. It was all in, I want to do what God created me to do. I want to do this job well. They need me, and I have to show up. I told myself, if I don't answer the phone, then that person on the other line is not going to love me anymore. They are not going to think I love them. If I don't answer every call, if I don't respond to every text, they're going to think I don't love them. If I don't say yes to every church obligation, they're going to think I don't love Jesus. They're going to think that I'm not a good Christian. These are all stories that I made up. I had to have a sparkling house and a dinner ready, and otherwise I'm not a good wife. Like, if I'm not doing all the things, then I'm not a good wife. Or am I a good mother? Like, all of these stories that I made up in my own head. And those stories literally were strangling me. They were choking the life out of me. So I need you to identify the stories. What stories are you telling yourself? Well, if I don't go above and beyond at work, no one will respect me. They won't think I'm smart enough. If I don't say yes to every project, then they're going to think I'm not committed and dedicated to the company. What story have you created in your own mind and in your own heart that is leading you to burnout and literally choking the life out of you? Hey friend, I'm just popping in to let you know that I have just a handful of openings on my calendar over the next 3 months for one-on-one coaching clients. If you are an accomplished woman who has found that you've lost your fire over time, if you have been successful doing all the things, but you just want to love your work again, if you're really good at what you do, but you know that there is more, then you need to reach out. Go to connectwithpbj.com. Sign up for a connect call. We'll jump on real quick. I just need to make sure you're a good candidate for my coaching program. And if so, we'll dig in together and I'll walk this journey with you. All right, y'all reach out. Connectwithpbj.com. I look forward to speaking with you.
Hello, my name is Ashley, and I had the privilege of experiencing Dr. PBJ as one of my coaches in a business accelerator program for women called Purpose to Platform. And Dr. PBJ actually served as our subject matter expert and our mindset coach throughout the program. And she brought over 30 years of experience in academia. Her professional training is amazing. Her experience is very relevant and she's applicable. And we were so fortunate to benefit from her being our mindset coach. Dr. PBJ is compassionate and very skilled in creating safe spaces I'll leave it at that. And she's also very skilled in walking her clients through transformation. You will have a transformative experience if you work with Dr. PBJ. She worked with our cohort, and literally most of us were, I would say, in the caterpillar stage when we came in. There were many things that we needed to develop, many things that we needed clarity on and support in, and she walked us through this transformative experience. She took us through the cocoon stage and ultimately helped us to build resilience, confidence, self-acceptance, and build us up to be the butterflies that we are and that we need to be to succeed in business. And so if you're looking for a coach who's relatable, who is compassionate, authentic, effective, and ultimately transformative, then you've found the right woman in Dr. PBJ. Thank you.
I love Tabitha Brown. If you don't know who Tabitha is, Auntie Tab. If you don't know who Tab is, you need to get your life. You need to figure out who Tab is. But I love Tabitha Brown, and I was listening to an interview that she had. I think it was with Crystal Hurst, and she was saying how before she was free, she tried to be what what Hollywood and what professional life expected her to be. How she straightened her hair and how she hid her North Carolina accent and how she tried to show up as what everybody wanted every day and how much it exhausted her. She would go home tired from wearing the costume all day long because she was convinced in order to be successful, the story she told herself is in order to be accepted and in order to be successful, I have to be what they, whoever they are, want me to be. And Tab goes on to tell her testimony of how her life completely changed when she made the decision to just be Tab, to just be herself, to let those stories go. And if you're familiar with her story, and if you've been following like I have, you know that her life has completely changed. 5 years or less, she is not the same person, or she is the same person, but her life is so much different. Everything that she waited on for over 20 years just flooded into her life when she decided to release that story. What story are you telling yourself? What story are you holding on to that is choking the life out of you? After you identify the story, then you need to apply truth to that story. Now, this can be the uncomfortable part because truth doesn't always feel good, but it will make you free. So you have to identify the story and then apply truth to that story. So in my case, the story was if I don't do it, if I don't show up, if I'm not there, nobody else will. Nobody else will do it. The truth is and was that it was more about my need to be needed. People didn't need me as much as I had convinced myself I was needed. It was more about me being needed. It was more about my identity being wrapped up in achievement. It was more about my self worth being wrapped up in the opinions of others. That was not easy truth for me to speak, for me to accept, for me to admit, but that truth made me free. That truth set me free. It made me free. So after you identify the story you're telling yourself, what is the truth? What is the truth? What is the truth of your situation? The truth is that you are worthy no matter how hard you work. You were made worthy. You were created worthy. The truth is that there is an innate, unique value inside of you, God given. All you have to do is wake up and breathe, and it flows from you. And when you live in that value, not only is there ease and grace, but there's power and impact. The truth is, you are valuable, you are worthy, you are loved, regardless of the overworking and the overdoing. The truth is, the overworking and the overdoing is more about you than about what others expect of you. Now, you know I love you. But in order to be free, you have to apply the truth to the stories you're telling yourself. After you apply the truth, you got to change the narrative. You have to speak to yourself in a different way. You have to cast down thoughts that come. As soon as that thought comes up, I have to answer that phone. No, ma'am. No, you don't. They can leave a voicemail and you can call back later. I have to. No, you don't. I have to say yes. No, you don't. No, you don't. The truth is, I only have to do what God is leading me to do. I choose to be obedient to Him. I choose to be obedient to Him. The truth is, I was born worthy, not because of me, but because of who created me. And I have to speak to myself according to that truth. The truth is, PBJ, you need to be needed. So sometimes when you see a need, you need to sit down and wait, because you are not always the solution. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. I'm talking to me. I am not always the solution. I am not always the answer. And me stepping in every time is not noble, it's disobedient. It's prideful. I'm just talking truth to me. I'm just speaking truth to me. Me thinking that I'm the savior of the world is prideful, because that's not my place. That's not my place. You have to change the story you are telling yourself. Speak to yourself in truth. Speak out loud to yourself in truth. And the more you speak that truth, the more freedom you're going to experience in your heart and in your mind and in your spirit and in your body. So if you're ready to disrupt burnout, friend, it's time to speak the truth. It's time to speak the truth. Well, my children can't live without me. I bet they will. They'll figure it out. They can wrestle through it. You made it through your 20s, they'll make it through theirs. It might not be easy, it might not be pretty, but they need to be independent. They need this opportunity for you not to step in and save them. Your colleagues, your spouse, your people, they need you to make room for them to step up and show up. That's the truth. That's the truth. So, I want to encourage your heart. I want to encourage your heart. Friend, you can be free. You can be free. The Bible says that the yoke, he says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Jesus said, if the yoke is heavy and it's choking you, and if the burden is too much for you to bear, it's not something God gave you. Something you took on in your own power, and you're having to carry it in your own power, and you need to release it. That's the truth. That's the truth. All right, friends, that's what I have for you today. As always, you know I'm here for you, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week. Bye now. Now, hold on, friend. Before you go, I want you to share this episode with somebody in your life who you know needs it. And you know we can't leave without this. I always have to remind you. I need to remind you. You are powerful. You are significant. And you are loved. Love always. PBJ.